Many chase wealth, but few survive it. Let that sink in. Because wealth isn't just about accumulation, it's about preservation, not just of money, but of character. History's richest man, King Solomon, didn't just write about prosperity, he warned about the silent killers that destroy it. And today, these same traps ruin modern millionaires, leaders, and entrepreneurs who never saw them coming. You can conquer empires and still lose yourself. You can build fortunes and watch them crumble from within. The difference between those who thrive and those who self-destruct? Wisdom. Not the kind you find in spreadsheets or market trends, but the kind etched in ancient proverbs, tested by time, ignored by the arrogant. So if you're serious about wealth, real wealth, the kind that doesn't vanish with the next economic crash or moral failure, then pay attention. Because Solomon's 7 warnings aren't just advice, they're a survival manual for the wealthy. Before we dive into the 7 sins, understand this. Solomon wasn't just rich. He was obsessed with studying wealth's effects on the human soul. His proverbs weren't for the poor. They were written for kings, for CEOs of their age, for men who already had power. And his message was clear. Wealth doesn't destroy people. People destroy themselves through wealth. Think of it like fire. In the right hands, it builds civilizations. In the wrong hands, it burns them to the ground. Solomon's wisdom is the difference between the two. Now let's expose the first and most dangerous sin. Sin number 1, pride. Pride goes before destruction. Proverbs 16:18. Pride is the silent killer of empires. It's the unshakable belief that you're the exception to the rules, that your success is purely your own doing, that you no longer need mentors, partners, or even humility. Modern example, the entrepreneur who ignores his board's warnings, over-leverages his company, and watches it collapse. The investor who thinks he's outsmarted the market right before the market humbles him. Pride doesn't just blind you, it isolates you. It makes you forget who lifted you up, who warned you, who stood by you when you had nothing. Here's what you do. Every month, ask yourself, who have I listened to lately? If the answer is no one, you're already in danger. The moment you stop seeking counsel is the moment your downfall begins. Sin number 2, greed. The greedy rush after wealth, not realizing poverty awaits them. Proverbs 28:22. Greed isn't wanting more. It's never having enough. It's the billionaire who hoards instead of invests. The entrepreneur who sacrifices health, family, and ethics for another zero on the balance sheet. But here's the paradox. The more you chase money for its own sake, the poorer you become, spiritually, relationally, even financially. Because wealth without purpose is a prison. So define your enough. Not as a number, but as a mission. Money should serve a vision, not replace it. When you attach wealth to something greater than yourself, you break greed's grip. Sin number 3, injustice. Dishonest wealth dwindles. Proverbs 13:11. Shortcuts, exploitation, unethical deals. They might boost your bank account today, but they erode your foundation. Every empire built on injustice collapses. Every single one. Think of companies that exploited workers, avoided taxes, or lied to customers. Their downfall wasn't bad luck, it was karma. True prosperity is built on fairness because reputation is the ultimate currency. So audit your success. Ask yourself, are people better off because of my wealth? If not, you're not building, you're borrowing time. Wealth that doesn't lift others is wealth that won't last. Sin number 4, sloth. A little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will come upon you like a thief. Proverbs 24:33-34. Success is dangerous, not because of what it takes to get there, but because of what it tempts you to do once you arrive. Complacency is the enemy no one sees coming. The entrepreneur who stops innovating, the investor who coasts on past wins, the executive who trades discipline for comfort. Wealth doesn't vanish overnight. It leaks, slowly, quietly. One neglected opportunity, one deferred decision, one lazy rationalization at a time. The antidote? Treat maintenance like a battle. Your empire isn't a monument, it's a living thing. Starve it of effort, and it dies. So ask yourself this: when was the last time I did something that scared me? If it's been too long, you're not maintaining your wealth, you're presiding over its funeral. Sin number 5, ostentation. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth. Proverbs 27:2. Here's the paradox of visible wealth. The more you show it, the less you actually have. Not in your bank account, but in your character. Flashy cars, designer labels, social media boasting, they're not signs of success. They're cries for validation. Real wealth whispers. It doesn't need to announce itself because it's too busy working, building, creating. The truly rich understand. Ostentation attracts two things: incompetent admirers and competent predators. Neither will help you grow. Try this. For the next 30 days, remove every non-essential display of wealth from your life. Watch what happens to your focus, your relationships, your peace of mind. That's the power of silence. Sin number 6, lack of self-control. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Proverbs 25 verse 28. Money doesn't change people, it reveals them, and nothing reveals character faster than sudden wealth. The disciplined become philanthropists. The reckless become addicts. The difference? Walls. Your walls are your boundaries, your non-negotiables. Your I don't care how much I have, this is who I am lines in the sand. No walls? Every temptation walks right in. Every impulse becomes a decision. Every vice becomes a habit. Here's how you build them. Before wealth ever arrives, write down your absolutes. I will never, I will always. Revisit that list monthly, because when the money comes, it'll be too late to decide who you are. Sin number 7, spiritual arrogance. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. This is the master sin, the one that makes all others possible. It's the delusion that you've outgrown the need for something greater than yourself, that your IQ replaces your need for guidance, that your success makes you the exception to universal laws. History's graveyard is full of self-made men who forgot they were mortal, who mistook luck for genius, who thought the rules didn't apply to them. Here's the truth. Wealth without reverence is like a nuclear reactor without safety protocols. Eventually, it melts down. So do this today. Find something bigger than your balance sheet to answer to. Not religion, responsibility. Not fear, perspective. The moment you kneel before something greater than yourself is the moment you stand taller than you ever could alone. There's a statistic that should terrify anyone building wealth. 90% of family fortunes disappear by the 3rd generation, not because of bad investments or market crashes, but because of one fatal mistake. They preserved the money and forgot to preserve the wisdom. Think about that. Grandparents build empires through sacrifice. Children maintain them through discipline. Grandchildren who never knew hunger, never faced rejection, never learned the value of a dollar, turn inheritance into entitlement. The money stays, but the character needed to sustain it vanishes. This isn't just about family wealth, it's about you, right now. Every time you prioritize profit over principles, every time you chase shortcuts instead of mastery, every time you value what you have over who you become, you're making the same mistake. So here's your wake-up call. Wealth without wisdom is gasoline without a container. It doesn't matter how much you pour in, it will all evaporate. How do you know if you're truly growing or just accumulating? Ask yourself these 3 questions. Could I lose everything tomorrow and rebuild it? Not financially, mentally. The measure of wealth isn't your net worth. It's your ability to create value from nothing. Who have I lifted up with me? Real prosperity creates ripples. If your success hasn't changed lives beyond your own, you're not wealthy. You're just temporarily rich. What do I know now that I didn't know at 0? If the answer is just more about money, you've missed the point. True growth happens in your philosophy, your discipline, your capacity to serve. Fail this test and no amount of money will save you. Pass it and no market crash can break you. Solomon didn't just warn us, he gave us the cure. Here are the first 3 daily practices to protect both your wealth and your soul. 1. The morning mirror. Before checking your portfolio, look in the mirror and ask, what kind of person earns this money today? Not what deals you'll make, what character you'll need. Start with integrity, and the numbers follow. 2. The 1% rule. Every day, improve one relationship with a partner, an employee, a mentor. Because wealth is a team sport, and lonely kings lose their kingdoms. 3. Reverse tithing. Set aside 10% of your time, not for more work, but for stillness. For every 10 hours of building, spend 1 hour asking why you're building. Without this, you'll end up with everything and nothing simultaneously. Let's complete your armor with the final 4 daily practices. 4. The debt test. Every quarter, ask, What privileges would I lose if I lost my money? The more answers you have, the more fragile your wealth truly is. Real power survives the disappearance of zeros. 5. Shadow accounting. Track not just your financial transactions, but your moral ones. For every deal closed, note what it cost your character. Profit that erodes your soul is always a net loss. 6. The empty chair drill. At every major decision, imagine your future self, 10 years wiser, sitting across from you. What would that version beg you to reconsider? That voice is your most valuable advisor. 7. Silent wealth hours. Twice weekly, spend time in environments where your money means nothing. Soup kitchens, public libraries, AA meetings, places where status shields dissolve. This is where you remember what really matters. Most wealth preservation strategies fail because they focus on the wrong target. You don't preserve money, you preserve values. Here's how. The 3-generation rule. Write 2 letters, one to your children explaining how you built your wealth, one to your grandchildren explaining why you built it. The second letter will always be more important. The firewall principle. Structure your assets so that 50% can be lost without destroying the family. 30% is completely untouchable for 20 plus years. 20% is actively risked to teach the next generation grit. The wisdom trust. Create a non-financial inheritance, a curated library of life-changing books, access to your mentors even posthumously via their writings, your personal journals of failures and lessons. The 30-day Silent Wealth Challenge. Starting tomorrow, week 1, The Purge. Remove all visible status symbols from your daily life. Have one important conversation where you never mention your achievements. Week 2, The Stress Test. Live on 1/10 of your normal budget for 7 days. Help someone anonymously with no possibility of recognition. Week 3, The Mirror Work. Every morning, write down one way money has changed you for worse. Every evening, rectify it with concrete action. Week 4, The Legacy Draft. Write your ethical will, what you want remembered beyond your assets. Have the hardest money conversation you've been avoiding. Solomon's warning echoes across 3,000 years for a reason. Wealth is the ultimate test of character. The money itself doesn't matter. What matters is who you become to get it, and who you remain after having it. You now hold the complete framework, the 7 sins that destroy from within, the 7 antidotes that fortify your foundation, the blueprint to build something that outlives you, world. But knowledge unapplied is just expensive entertainment. So here's your final question. Which part of this will you act on within the next 24 hours? Not someday, tomorrow. Because true wealth begins when you stop consuming wisdom and start implementing it.